Hello, and welcome back to episode 53 of the Cavoodle Coach Podcast. My name is Tiana. I'm your host and your Kavoodle puppy coach, and I'm very excited to talk about today's episode topic. So, the other day I was scrolling through Instagram, as you do, and I came across a video from a dog product business owner, and they were talking about how to stop puppy biting. Now, they weren't trainers, they just owned a dog product business, and they were giving some advice on what to do when your puppy latches on and bites your arm. Now, this is a very common puppy behavior, and what the person was saying was when the puppy bites your arm, what you have to do is respond with a really firm no. Sorry if that was loud in your ears. And that was their advice to get the puppy to stop biting your arm. And this caught my attention. There were obviously a lot of comments from people saying, thank you, I'm going to try it out with my puppy, I can't wait. And as a dog trainer myself, someone who does this as a living and deals with puppy biting on a daily basis, what I'd like to say about this style of training is it is something I like to call reactive dog training, because the puppy is doing a behavior and then you are reacting to it. The issue with reactive dog training or reactive puppy training is we are waiting for the puppy to display a behavior we don't like, and then we are trying to tell them no in our language. So if your puppy bites you on the arm and your response is no, in a strong, firm voice. Again, sorry if that was really loud in your ears. If that is your response, firstly, your puppy doesn't speak English. Secondly, you're trying to use fear as a way to train a puppy. And when we're talking about Cavoodles, because this is a page all about Cavoodles, they're a very sensitive breed. And if you are yelling at them, getting angry at them, they really take this to heart, and it just crumbles their confidence levels. And we all know, if you've been listening to me for any amount of time, that the most important skill a Cavoodle has to have is their self-confidence. Otherwise, they are going to be completely ridden with anxiety, and that will affect your Cavoodle's behavior constantly for the rest of their life, and it restricts you as a family. So we definitely don't want to be crumbling their confidence by being angry, firm, or yelling at them with a no. The second reason why it is not really that beneficial to tell our puppy no when they bite us on the arm is we are not actually telling our puppy and explaining to them what behavior to display instead. Now, every time your puppy does a behavior, there is always going to be a reason for it. They don't do something for no reason. And most of the time when they're doing a behavior, especially if it directly impacts you, like biting you on the arm, they're trying to communicate something to you. And if your response is just shutting down their emotions and telling them no, and not guiding them into the correct outlet for this emotion, one that's maybe a bit more gentle, one that isn't about biting your arm, then your puppy is going to do the same behavior 2 seconds later, because you haven't actually taught them anything. You're using reactive dog training instead of proactive dog training, and that's the type of training I like to focus on. When we are looking at proactive dog training, this is a term I've come up with. It's proactive, right? Instead of waiting for the puppy to do the behavior we don't want, like biting us on the arm, instead we are going to focus on the psychology of a puppy. And what we need to know is, of course, the puppy is going to want to bite. The puppy is teething. It's a natural behavior. This is what they are going to be seeking out to do. But how can we as the family proactively do some behavior training with our puppy to show them that when they are feeling the urge to bite, they can go and soothe the pain in their mouth, or to help with that adrenaline rush that they're getting, because maybe you've been playing with them and they've gotten all excited and now they're just trying to bite you, or they want to bite you. What can we do instead to guide our puppy proactively before they get to the biting to go and chew on a toy instead, to nibble, to gnaw, to release those calming endorphins, rather than doing it on your arm? This is proactive dog training. And with proactive dog training, you have to understand the psychology of the dog. You have to understand how dogs think, how dogs behave, and when they feel certain things, what is their natural instinct? to do. So when a puppy is feeling the urge to bite, their natural instinct is to bite us because they used to bite their siblings and their mum when they were with their litter mates. So if they've come into our home and we are aware of this, we need to get in there proactively with some training that is going to change the thought pattern for the puppy so that when they feel the urge to bite, we train them to instead chew on their toys when they want to bite instead of our arms. And this is proactive dog training, and this is what's going to make the difference between having a puppy who you're constantly yelling no at because they constantly seem to do the wrong thing and they can't seem to understand not to, versus a puppy where you actually communicate to them properly and change their thought pattern into doing behaviors we want to see in our home. Chewing their toys instead of chewing our arms. Proactive dog training, it is the key to having a puppy who does the right behaviors in the home, rather than a puppy who seems to always be naughty. And if you're watching the video, I'm using little, what are they called, parentheses? I'm using quotation marks because I don't believe any puppies are naughty. A puppy is never naughty. A puppy is simply trying to communicate something to you. They have this natural instinct, and you as the family just haven't told them the right behavior to display. It comes down to the family. It's not a naughty puppy. It's a family incorrectly training the puppy. So what I would like to say is if you are scrolling on Instagram, as we all do, especially if you're looking to get a puppy, you'll start coming across a whole lot of training tips, training advice, from trainers, from dog product business owners, from a random person on the street. Everyone has their own 2 cents about dog training. But what I really encourage you to do is as you scroll through Instagram or TikTok or Google, whatever platform you are using to try and learn, as you're going through it, just think to yourself, is the advice reactive or proactive? Is the advice reacting to the behavior the puppy is already doing? Or is the training advice actually teaching you about the psychology of the dog and teaching you how to reshape your puppy's natural instincts into a polite behavior in the home? Because the proactive training is the training you want to follow. And this sort of training comes from a trainer who has learned about the psychology of a dog. And it's really important that you pour your time into learning these training methods because this is the training method that's actually going to get you the results. And it's a training method that's actually going to stop your puppy biting completely, rather than constantly going, no, 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 100 times a day because your puppy bites 100 times a day. So this is really important. And I really hope this has made sense. I really hope it's opened your eyes to a different style of dog training and how to actually identify whether the advice you're seeing online is something that is actually going to make a difference with your puppy's behavior. We don't want to be reactive with dog training. We want to be proactive. We want to change the thought patterns in our puppy so that they choose the behaviors we want to see in our home, not the natural instincts that come to them naturally, like biting, chewing, barking, jumping, and all of those naughty puppy behaviors we don't want to see. Again, I don't like the word naughty, but this is the word that families use when they don't know any difference. It's never a naughty puppy. It's just a puppy who hasn't been taught the correct behavior to do when they feel a certain way. Now, inside my Kavoodle Training Academy program, it is all about proactive puppy training. The entire program is revolving around teaching you about the psychology of the Kavoodle, how they think, how they behave, how they feel, and how we can understand these different behaviors and thoughts and feelings and shape our puppies into a really calm, well-behaved dog who has all of their needs met, rather than constantly being reactive to their behaviors, shutting down their emotions and not giving them any other direction on what behavior to display. With the Cavoodle Training Academy, there is such a massive, in-depth pre-puppy module, which I really want families to do before they bring their puppy home. Because inside this module, this is where we go into the psychology of a Kavoodle puppy. This is where we explore how a puppy thinks, how the puppy behaves, what our puppy is going to naturally try and do within our home. And we talk about what we need to do as a family to communicate to them. We do a really big deep dive into the body language of a Kavoodle puppy, how they use their body to communicate to us, and how you as the family can recognize all of these individual body language signals to preempt the behavior your puppy is going to do. When your puppy is getting the urge to bite and they're feeling that emotion inside of them, there are very, very clear warning signs. What we might see is the puppy starts to become unfocused. The puppy's energy levels start to increase. Their excitement levels increase. Maybe their eyes widen, their ears go back, their tail starts to go down a bit. All of these body language signals is our puppy telling us, hey, mum and dad, I'm starting to feel a little bit different. I'm starting to get that urge to bite. And that is when we come in before they actually bite and we guide them into the correct behavior to do instead, and we change that thought pattern. When we do this for a puppy, when we actually change the behavior, when we change the thought pattern, puppy training becomes really quick and easy. Instead of feeling like you're constantly butting your head against the wall because you just can't seem to get through to your puppy and they keep doing the wrong behavior, instead, we're very clearly communicating to the puppy the new rules and expectations in this human household and what behaviors they need to do to get what they want, and how they can actually self-soothe themselves, get rid of the pain in their mouth, and what things are actually going to achieve that. Rather than them feeling this pain in their mouth and they've gone to bite you and instead they get yelled at. That's not validating their feelings, it's invalidating their feelings, and it's making them feel confused, frustrated, scared, stressed, anxious. And when a puppy is feeling all of these emotions, I say this all the time, but when they feel these really heightened emotions, these really strong emotions, what happens is they get an adrenaline rush. And when they have an adrenaline rush, their body is going to react in ways that they have no control over. And one of the ways they act is they start to bite and jump and bark. And so you've told your puppy no, and then suddenly they get an adrenaline rush, and the poor thing just does it again, not because they are purposely trying to do it in spite of you, but because they have no control over it. And it's because the type of training approach you are doing is reactive and you're shutting down your puppy's emotions and needs instead of being proactive about it, addressing their needs, meeting their needs, and showing them how to get their feelings met in a really polite behavior in the home. This is the key to puppy training. It is so important. It's about the psychology of dog training. You have to learn this animal's form of communication if you want to get across to them and show them how to behave in the household. We cannot be reactive. We have to be proactive. And so if you're getting a Cavoodle puppy and you want to take that proactive approach to puppy training, click the link in the show notes, have a read up about my program. I'd love to welcome you in there. It's self-paced, it's completely digital. You can do it anywhere in the world. You can have your whole family involved. You do it at your own pace, and I help guide you through the first month with your Cavoodle puppy. And you have that one-on-one personalized support with me with weekly Q&As in a group setting. You can ask me any question you like. I can help guide you through any behaviors your puppy is showing, and we can make sure that we are proactive with our puppy training, that we're actually teaching our puppies the right behaviors to do in our home, and we're actually changing those thought patterns so that we see results in our puppy training rather than constantly shutting down our puppy, being reactive, and not actually seeing any changes in behavior. So that's my Kavoodle Training Academy. I'm so proud of this program. There's nothing out there like it in terms of training for Cavoodles. It is all about behavior shaping. It's about the psychology of the dog. It's about addressing the behaviors before they happen and changing those thought patterns. It's really important to do this so that you get success with your puppy and you actually get a Cavoodle puppy who complements your lifestyle and doesn't complicate it. So hopefully I'll see some of you in the program. Again, the link is in the show notes. Cavoodle Training Academy is what it's called. If you have a question about the program, you're not sure if it's for you, just send me an email at hello@oodleway.co. I'll let you know if it's the right program for you and your family, and hopefully I'll welcome you in there soon and I'll become your Cavoodle puppy coach. That is it for today's episode. Please, if you're scrolling Instagram, TikTok, Google, just ask yourself, is the training advice reactive or proactive? Choose training advice that's proactive. Choose it from a trainer who understands the psychology of a dog, because that training is actually going to get you results. So proactive training, not reactive training. I hope that makes sense. If you've loved this episode, please leave me a rating and a review. It really helps the show. It gets the show in front of more people. I read all the reviews. They mean so much to me. And if you have loved this episode and you want to let me know, please send me a DM on Instagram. My Instagram is @Oodleway. And That's really appreciated because I am talking to a camera right now, and it's nice to hear that there are people on the other side of the camera actually listening to this episode. So send me a DM if you've loved the episode. Let me know if you have a puppy. Hopefully I'll see you in the program, and I will see you next week for another episode of the Cavoodle Coach Podcast. Okay, see you then. This has been your Cavoodle Coach, Tiana. I'll see you later. Bye.